Thank you for taking the time to watch this short training video for what was our guest services team, which is now going to be called welcoming team, because that's what we do. We welcome people. One of the things I have done is adopted some verses for us. They're from Philippians 2, verses 3 through 5, which read, "Do nothing from selfish or empty conceit, but with humility of mind regard one another as more important than yourselves. Do not merely look out for your own personal interests, but also for the interests of others. Have this attitude in yourself, which was also in Christ Jesus." So I wanted to hop on and do this short little video for you, hopefully concise and to the point, and will just help us with a few adjustments that we're going to make in the team this year. I have a couple questions for you. Do we here at Atlantic Avenue Church plan to have new guests each week? So are we prepared for them? And that's what this video is going to be a little bit about. I've spent some time in a book called Becoming a Welcoming Church by Thom Rainer, and it had a lot of good ideas. One of the things that Thom Rainer does is he works at churches and contacts guests if they've come back after filling out a Connect card of some sort, or whether they haven't, and the reasons for that. So I want to look at a few of those today. Some of the reasons why guests came back. I thought these were very important because these are the techniques that we want to implement here at the church. They said someone offered to sit with them, introduced themselves to them, and just made them feel welcome. So that's one thing we really want to do. One thing I would like to try is, instead of after you're serving before the service of hanging your name tag up and going into service, I'd like to ask you to wear your name tag during the service. You know, sometimes we see a name and it's easier to remember, so that would help them remember. And try to remember their name. Ask them if it's a name that may be hard to spell, or you might be able to remember it better if you heard them spell them. Ask them, Kathy, oh, is that with a C or with a K? But if they say their name's Bob, don't ask them to spell that. So another thing that people liked, first-time guests, were having the information that they needed, like questions they needed answered. We've just recently designated our desks as welcome desks. We have sign-ups there. There's one right outside the entrance in the cafe and also inside the east lobby. So you can sign up there, but also that's where we will have as much information. We'll have our gift bags there. So those will be manned. That's a new station on our schedule. That's welcome desk person. I want to talk to you a little bit about parking. A couple things. If you're able, parking is sometimes a struggle at our church because we have so many wonderful people there. So if you are able, and I think most of you are, to park just a little further away from the church, especially before first service. If you're able to park in the west parking lot, it's the parking lot on the other side from Pizza Hut. Couple advantages, you have less steps that way, and also if we park further away, we'll have more steps on our phone that we've done that day. So there's some advantages. We want to begin to implement a valet parking at some point in time, so that will leave room right near the doors where we can have people be able to be dropped off there. Also, we're going to implement guest parking that will be the first row outside the east entrance. So just a little, if you would be considerate and park just a little further away from the church, that would be great. I do have welcome books for you, just a little two-sided page books that I will have at the church. Also at the welcome desk, you can pick up those at your convenience. Just a few guidelines for you, which you'll see in the handbook. Be on time at your station. Have your heart ready to serve. Be prepared to answer questions. And again, from our verses, look to the needs of others before yourselves and practice humility. So let's look at the different positions we have for our welcome team. Number one is a door greeter. And I'd like to ask, weather permitting, if you would stand outside the door when new guests are coming to the church, sometimes they may be nervous, and to look up and see a number of doors in the first place and just seeing a door that they're not sure what's on the other side can make them a bit anxious. So I'd like to ask you if you would be willing to stand outside the door, even if it's cold or snowy, if they're part way up towards the door, if you would just step outside, that will make them feel much more welcome. The second one is what I mentioned earlier, the welcome desk attendants. And these are the people that need to be interested in knowing a little bit more about the activities of the church, things going on, the Sunday school classes, what the different signups are. So we have those desks. Well, they'll also be where we collect the Connect cards, which are now a simpler card with just a few questions on them. So I'm thinking we'll get a few more of those without all the information being asked. So when one of those is turned in, you will give them a blue welcome bag. Now those welcome bags do have gift cards in them. Before we had mailed the gift card out, but we're thinking maybe an incentive of having the gift card right in that they would be more free to give us their name and contact to get that gift card to McDonald's or wherever we decide that month. So you will need to be there to be able to hand those out. We've now added what we're calling roaming greeters, and this was one of the things from the book that he said was really worked well. You would just be not at any station, but just kind of roaming away around near the entrances. You'd be able to help with hanging coats up, holding bags that they may have with their Bibles in, holding doors for them, but also giving information when they don't know where the children's sign up is or where the restrooms are. Our signage is great. But sometimes when you're nervous, you're not seeing all those signs. So you would just watch for people who may be new and not exactly sure where they're going and be able to answer those questions. So I'm really excited about that aspect of the team. We've made a little change as far as passing out our bulletins. We're calling them bulletin buddies. And we're going to be using some newer team members and also some of our youth to pass out bulletins. These aren't the people that need to be making relationships, because merely all they're doing is handing out a bulletin, saying good morning, welcome, just another person to welcome them along their way. We also have the cafe, which is very popular. When I say the word cheers, what do you think? Everybody knows your name, right? So I don't want you just to be standing there, but to be looking to form relationships and to make people feel welcome. It's probably the busiest place on Sunday morning is the cafe. So I'm just asking that you would be very conscious of each person who's going through the line and getting coffee or tea and just making them feel welcome. Aside from the people aspect, which is the most important, I would ask that the coffees be made, the water pitchers be filled at all times, and then the snacks be refilled as the morning goes on. So I have attached a schedule for the month and sent that out by email. I also had those available on the at the cafe in the little case behind the counter there, so you can pick them up. So thank you for watching this video, taking that 10 minutes and just getting caught up with the new things. I may do this from time to time, so I appreciate your time so much. I know time is precious. So if you have any questions, you can call me at the church or email me, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Thanks so much, team. Have a wonderful week.